Hey there, you are listening to the Oh Crap Potty Training podcast. I am your host, Jamie Glowacki. I am the author of Oh Crap Potty Training and Oh Crap, I Have a Toddler. So happy New Year. And I know a lot of people are committed to potty training in the new year. So I know I have a bunch of new followers because obviously this podcast is good for a limited amount of time in your child's life. So I wanted to do a little bit of a review of a couple of things to remind you, because we're being hit real heavy with a couple of things that are a little out of whack. So number one, Oh Crap Potty Training is not a 3-day potty training method. It is not naked for the weekend. And so we're getting a lot of clients, both me and the certified Oh Crap experts, that say, I did the whole 3-day naked thing, and then they're expecting their child to be potty trained. I think what's happening, a lot of people try 3-day methods before coming to me. 3-day methods, I don't like them. And I know that there's some, there's a couple of popular ones that you can see on Amazon that have great reviews. And maybe for your average child, for maybe a stay-at-home parent, 3 days will probably get you over the major hump, or it used to be that way. Yeah. And then your child's still going to need help. They're not going to be self-initiating. They're not going to be wiping their own butt. They're certainly not going to be ready to go back to daycare after 3 days. But more importantly, I have always maintained that potty training takes really like 3 to 7 days. Now I'm extending that out because I want you guys to have a realistic expectation so you can prepare and have that time of vacation time, a break, or whatever that looks like for your family. It really takes closer to 7 days. These post-pandemic kids are built different. They're more sensitive. They're on high alert. They are, they're sensitive to change. And so potty training is a huge change. And I maintain that I think it's done best with the kind of rip the Band-Aid off approach, take the diapers away, deal with the fallout, be with your kid, consistent, routine, repetition, that kind of thing. But you just have to know that these kids are taking a little bit longer than I have historically seen. And I've been doing this work full time for almost 16 years. So be aware of that. And it is not naked for 3 days. That's not the point. So please, if you are listening to this and you haven't gotten my book, please get my book. Okay. Don't try to potty train just off this podcast. This podcast is meant to supplement the book. My book is arranged in blocks of learning, and those blocks do not correlate to days. And I say this ad nauseum in the book, and yet people are missing it. So I'm reiterating it here. I'm reiterating it on social media. Block 1 may take a couple of days. Block 2 may take a couple of days. So it's not block 1 is day 1. Block 2 is day 2. Parents are getting this very, very confused, okay? Each block is its own block of learning, and I designed it this way to give you quantifiable data as to how to move on. It's also the metaphor of blocks is because you build a tower of blocks, and if your tower gets unstable, you go back to the last stable block. Right? So if the tower gets tippy, you take that block off the tower and you stay where the blocks are stable. So you can always go back to block 1, always go back to block 2 if the block you're on feels shaky. The bulk of potty training in my book is blocks 1, 2, and 3. After that, we're talking about longer term things like night training, self-initiation. So please don't get that confused. And I feel like we're just so busy as a society, and I understand it. You guys are in the trenches. This is the hardest age. I really believe that. And I have an 18-year-old, and I'll take teenagehood over toddlerhood any day of the week. I know you guys are in the trenches, but I'm finding more and more based on comments on Instagram, based on questions I get, is like people are just skimming the information. And I know you're busy. I know this is challenging, but read the information. You know what I mean? Because I'm hearing people say, I didn't get that. I'm like, oh my God, that was a whole chapter. So again, it's not a 3-day method. Allow yourself time. I talk about that a lot on this podcast, but I'm just going to remind you. The second reminder, self-initiation. This is your child asking or telling you that they have to go to the potty or just going on their own. Let me reiterate what is in the book. Self-initiation typically comes with consistency somewhere in the 3 to 8 weeks after your start date. Okay. It is not reliable before that. So maybe you have a rock star who on, second day of potty training is like, Mommy, I have to pee. Daddy, I have to pee. Great. That doesn't mean it's hands off now. They are unreliable. So you may still have to prompt them. I get so much shit for this. They should be able to go on their own. This is the only milestone, and I'm going to lose my cookies here. This is the only milestone that we throw our kids to the wolves. When they start walking, we don't say, nope, can't hold my hand. You can't hold my hand anymore. You're walking. You should be able to do this on your own. We don't do that, right? We don't, when our kid first starts to balance on a bike, either they have training wheels or we're holding the back of the bike. We're not like, oh, you can pedal now. No, you don't need me. Our kids need us at this age. Yes, they need us to help them recognize their symptoms, their signs, their signals. They need us to remind them. They need us to see what they're not seeing, or to help them, get away from play when they're showing, it's a pee dance. Like, oh, we need to leave your truck, or your truck can come to the potty with us. So this is the only milestone that we throw our kids to the wolves, and I cannot understand it. But I say this because no matter how much I repeat this on the podcast or in my book, parents are taking 3 days, and then the child has to go back to daycare or preschool, and the preschool demands that they are self-initiating. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And when we expect it to happen, first of all, the child feels like a failure. We're putting way too much on little toddler shoulders, but also it's just going to implode. It's going to be a mess. And I am just already getting so many daycare disasters after the potty training on the holidays, because people kind of rushed the process and, thought they could do it in 3 days. And then the child's not self-initiating. I wouldn't expect them to. Remember, in the early days, what you are looking for is not just pee and poop in the potty. You are looking for their pee dance or signal, right? That's how they look when they have the urge to pee. So that might look like a deer in the headlights. That might look like grabbing their crotch, walking on tiptoes. Those are very typical ones. You're looking for that, and you're looking for their pee pattern. So that is, we all have a pee pattern, right? Which is, I drink X amount of water or coffee or whatever in the morning, and I'm going to have to use the bathroom this many times or in this much time, right? So you're looking for, okay, if my child has 8 ounces of water or milk in the morning, how long before they pee? And then, how frequently is the pee? Because some kids are camels and can hold the pee till 11 o'clock, pee in the potty, no problem. Other kids, they are, once they break the seal, right? They can go for hours. They break the seal. They might pee 6 times in an hour. Other kids might just regularly go almost every hour. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for these patterns, right? Over the time that you're potty training, because that's the information you can give daycare or preschool without micromanaging them. Okay. So a lot of times what happens is kids go back to daycare and parents give the daycare provider a list of things to look for, but they can't do that. They don't have the time. They're not a one-on-one ratio, right? Or they expect the daycare to just know. And we don't want to micromanage, and we don't want to send your child back to daycare kind of half-assed potty trained, because chances are it's not going to get better at daycare. It might sometimes, because they use a herd mentality to go to the bathroom, in a group or in partners, but typically it doesn't. So please remember that about self-initiation. Again, it's kind of frustrating, when you put your heart and soul into a book and people say, oh, I've read your book. I've listened to all your podcasts, and it's day 3 and my child's still not initiating. And I'm like, no, they shouldn't be self-initiating. So yes, I'm kind of griping about it, but it's like, oh my God, no, you didn't read the book, or no, you didn't listen to the podcast. So it gets frustrating for sure. But I just wanted these reminders because I know a lot of people are potty training in the new year, and might be potty training, especially with February break coming up. I know we just passed breaks for the holiday. So again, not a 3-day method. Self-initiation is 3 to 8 weeks after your start date. Okay. All right. That's all I have for today. And as always, I appreciate you guys listening. If you need help with anything, pee withholding, poop withholding, I have 2 courses. I have a pee withholding course now, my pooping solutions course, which has helped thousands of people. I get daily thank yous that will really, really get your child pooping with ease. And if you are struggling with daycare, don't forget we have the daycare blueprint with all the myriad of problems that could go wrong at daycare, or you should really get it before potty training if your child's in full-time daycare, because we also give you about half the course is best practices potty training going back to daycare. So it's really helpful because there's so many if-thens that can happen in daycare. It can be hard to pinpoint exactly what's going on. And remember, number one is we'll never know what's going on fully in daycare because you're not there. You won't know how the child's being prompted. You won't know your child's reaction or what they were doing at the time. There's a lot of factors. So I highly suggest that course if you are struggling with daycare. All right. As always, rock on and have a beautiful day, you guys.